Hello, all of you wonderful people out there in podcast land. Welcome to another episode of Black and White Reviews. My name is Will.
And my name is Lee.
And my name is Chuck.
And this is it. This is the end for our Titans coverage for a little while.
For a little while.
For a little while we transition into something completely different. Yeah. So, the finale of season 2, titled Nightwing.
Nightwing. Woohoo! We finally made it.
We made it. We made it to the end.
We made it.
We made this anticlimactic ending.
You guys, okay, this is the thing. You guys were like singing its praises the entire time. Like, this is so much better than Marvel. It's so much better than what Star Wars has been doing. And then they're like, it's finally done now, suddenly, because we have nothing else to talk about Marvel or Star Wars. So it's finally done.
No, I think it's finally done because we've done 2 seasons in a row straight.
Yeah. You know what else we never finished? Cobra Kai, The Chosen. But okay.
Well, we can all get back. But again, when you're doing it, I'll go back and do Cobra Kai.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things where it's like, we've been doing 2 straight seasons of
those will when you guys go back and do Cobra Kai and The Chosen, those will be I'm guessing those will be audio exclusives for the podcast, because it's not like I'm going to be around to record those videos.
You're welcome.
Oh,
I'm saying you're welcome. You're welcome to.
No, I'm all set.
Okay.
Cobra Kai is pretty good.
No.
You didn't like it? Or don't like it? Never tried it?
Nah.
You weren't a Karate Kid kind of guy?
Not really.
No, he didn't grow up in that stuff. He went right to the good stuff. From like, he's like 8 watching like Dusk Till Dawn.
Yes, I was.
He really was.
I probably was.
Your sister brought you to the theater to see it.
Oh, George.
It wouldn't have been. It wouldn't have been my sister. It probably
Hold
would have
on.
been. It would have been my uncle.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Well, let's think. From Dusk Till Dawn came out in what, 98? No, earlier, 96.
Earlier than that, yeah.
Really? I'd say 96 was probably From Dusk Till Dawn, the first one. So 96. Okay, so how old were we? We were 8. 8 or 9, right?
I was 10.
You were probably 9. 9, 10. Okay.
I was 10. Well, if I was born in 86, and if it came up...
1996. What a guess.
I was probably...
96.
I was 10.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't watch it at 10.
Sounds about right. Sounds about right. Anyways,
I remember. So I remember trying to. I know we're gonna jump off here, but I remember I was trying to watch that movie once, and I don't think I ever saw it from the beginning. So I grabbed the disc from somebody's binder of like 5 billion CDs, and I put it on. And I'm watching it. And I'm like, it was weird. It was like George Clooney. Like immediately, it was George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino like walking out of a trailer going through here, and I'm like,
talk about an odd couple. Talk about an odd
yes.
couple.
Yes.
Yep.
But I remember seeing them come out of a trailer and they're walking through somewhere. I'm like, I'm so confused. Like, they're just kind of talking. Like, what's happening here? Like, this is such a twisted movie. This is so strange. Then I realized it wasn't the movie. It was the bonus disc.
Oh.
So it was like like behind the scenes. So I was like I know Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino do some weird things, and their conversations seem very conversational. So I bought it for like 20 minutes. I was going, but wait, but he's like directing him here, and I'm like, because he's like helping. What's happening? Is this really how the movie starts, and then it somehow cuts into something else? It's almost as bad as the time I watched about an hour of a movie, or almost an hour, almost 50 minutes of a movie called Split that was not Split. It was about some girl like who was like into bowling.
What?
And like these 2 guys, and one guy's a jerk, and another guy's like not so much a jerk, but he's there, and whatever, something weird was happening, and I'm watching it going, wow, so all these characters are in her head? That's so strange. Like these are all characters in somebody's head. Because I knew what Split was kind of about, like multiple personalities. That's all I knew. But I'm going, where's James McAvoy? When does that come into play? Like none of this makes any sense. And finally, I'm like, I have to look it up. Is there another movie called Split? Sure enough, there's another movie, some horrible like indie drama called Split.
Well, you say Rodriguez directing Tarantino in oh my god, from Dusk Till Dawn was weird.
Yeah,
it was just as weird when he directed him in Planet Terror.
Oh yeah,
That was just as odd. I don't know why
I
we
want to revisit that.
Planet
Was that the one with the machine gun leg?
Yes.
That's with Rose McGowan. Yeah.
I gotta rewatch that.
I kind of think Death Proof
Michael
was the
Biehn
better
was in
movie, but
what was that? I missed that.
I said I kind of think Death Proof was the better movie of the two. Like they released them both back to back, like the Roadhouse. They would try to go back and do like the whole Roadhouse Grindhouse thing over again. That didn't really take hold.
So speaking of movies we've seen,
sure.
This is to a friend's pot. I never really watched. I watched those movies, but they were always too like. When I was younger, they were always too gritty for me, and now I'm like, I don't ever want to go back and revisit them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see? I posted for our page. I posted Johnny Depp in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen that? So there's a meme on the internet of Bert and Ernie driving a car, and
I saw that you threw that up there,
and you got the count as one of the bats come. Like that's fantastic. But a friend of ours does a podcast, and he was talking about. I never realized this, but Universal was doing a dark universe for a while.
Yes,
and they redid Dracula Reborn, and then they did The Mummy with Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I watched it when it first came out, and I don't remember much of it, and it has horrible reviews. It's like it's got a 34 on Rotten Tomatoes by
The Mummy.
Audience, like an 8 in the 8. Yeah, with Tom Cruise, not the original with Brendan Fraser.
Of course.
But I watched it and I was like, this movie is awful. But Russell Crowe is in it, and he's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I'm like, what is this? Like, what? What is this? And they totally just destroy. I watched it today, and I was like, they totally destroyed the movie. They destroyed the premise of The Mummy. They actually threw in some cameos into it. Like, you've seen the one with Brendan Fraser, right?
Yes.
So you know, in the original movie, there's the two books: the Book of the Dead and the Book of the Living.
Yes.
And the Book of the Living is the gold book.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in this movie with Tom Cruise, his girlfriend, whatever, the female, she takes this like hard book and she knocks out this guy who, come to find out, plays Jafar in the live action Aladdin. And she knocks him out, and the camera pans on the book, and it's the Book of the Living
from the other Mummy. Yeah.
And I'm like, of course, they had to throw one thing from that movie in here to tie those two together. But outside of that, it was, I'm like, this movie was awful. It was horrible.
Yeah.
But like I said before in the beginning of this, I like this TV show Titans, but this finale was backwards, and it was anticlimactic for me.
They don't know how to end.
Don't. I was just about to say the same thing.
They have no idea how to end, how to resolve anything.
They have no idea how to stick landings. It's a problem. That's it's a problem.
Dick does, but the whole rest of the show does not.
Right. Well, they flipped what should have happened.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They should have flipped the two fights.
I know. Why would they Okay, so let's. I mean. Why? Like, how do they think that made sense? Because when Deadpool's not with us anymore, we go, oh wow, and then we're like, whatever, Deathstroke, whatever. When he's gone, I mean, whatever.
It might as well be whatever.
Rips everybody
At
off.
this point, it might as well be whatever.
Exactly.
Whoever he is.
I mean, you've got Captain Marvel. Oh wait, that's DC. Oh, let's change it to Shazam. Like, whatever. Everybody's ripping everybody off in here. And hide your kids, hide your wives. But the reality is, this show is so. It has such great content, but they have no idea how to form a storyline
when you're in
how to close it properly. So Deathstroke, whatever, he's dead, and you go, oh wow, that was kind of quick, and you're like, we still have like a half an hour or more left in this episode. What are they gonna do? Oh yeah, I forgot. There's this happening too. And then you're like, well, that's the big ending. Is that? I'm like, no, that was a side story, because the whole story was all about Deathstroke. The entire season was all about Deathstroke.
100%.
So they, like you said, they did it backwards. So why would they do it?
This whole show does things backwards, because Like what should happen in any normal television show is the beginning and the ending are supposed to like hook you, right? Not this show. This show, like everything that happens like in the middle of the season, like the meat and the content, that's what's really interesting. But like the way that they start off and the way that they end is just like, what is happening here? And the biggest thing that I was afraid of happened on the show. Dick Grayson had a mental battle with Bruce, got a new suit, and he had no problem with Deathstroke at all when he got his rear end handed to him just a few episodes ago. Barely broke a sweat. It was what?
Yeah,
he had what?
The cape's out of the way.
Oh
no.
Remember
Rose was
Incredibles never wear capes. Like
right, but Rose was there to help him because he never actually, it's
yeah.
not even him.
Yeah, sure, sure.
But if they took those two fights and they flipped them and made the first fight longer, this episode would have been perfect.
Yeah, and then they had this like I don't know if the character who plays Donna or the actress here, what's her name? Connor Leslie, if they were just like if she was like, I'm out, I'm done, my contract is up, so they just had to kill her off. But it seemed like, didn't they already kill her earlier in the season?
No.
Like almost, like she was almost dead.
No.
She was like stabbed, run through pretty hard
in the shoulder by Deathstroke.
Yeah, whatever. She was crawling on the floor bleeding, and we thought she was dead. She just stopped. She was done.
Hey, great, they
great
foreshadowing.
Yeah, well,
sure.
If you want to say that. And then she's like, all right, so she's super strong enough to fight Superman because she's basically Wonder Woman 2.0 or Wonder Woman Jr.
No, she's her daughter.
Is she her daughter?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought she was just another. Okay. Who's the father?
The Amazon. No one knows who the father is.
Yeah, no one knows who the father.
Have you ever? Who's?
I don't know. Well, how is there snoo? I don't understand if there's no man.
So
anyway.
I mean, my whole problem with that is
Will gets it.
She's an Amazon and she is killed by electricity. I don't understand how come she can't withstand a little bit of electricity.
No idea.
I don't get it. It wasn't a lot.
It wasn't a little bit, but she was also like straight up having a fist fight with Superman 2.
Pretty much.
Like
no problems.
Yeah.
No problems at all.
She held her own pretty well there.
Yeah, pretty much.
She gets an electric tickle and she's done after she held the thing. I'm sorry, she was a little burned up.
That kind of makes me agree with Lee. I just think her contract was up and she was like, I'm done. Have a good one, guys. See you later. Find a way to write me off.
How do we do this? Oh, let's just like Final Destination it, where it's like, oh, we weren't paying attention to anything, and suddenly a sign or something comes out of nowhere and takes somebody out.
The gas grill blows up.
Yeah, like, okay, at the very end of something dumb happens. Oh yeah, wasn't there like arms on the table or something?
The gas grill blew up and the
that
arm
was number 2.
Yeah.
Oh jeez, I remember the first one very well.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
So and Wonder Woman can ride lightning, and she gets fried by it.
Yes.
Ah, yes.
Isn't that interesting?
Lightning.
That whole thing in that movie.
I gotta revisit that movie.
That whole thing in that movie. Oh my god! It was funny too because when Lee and I did that movie, we're talking about it and we're both bored and we're just waiting to get to the part where we can actually say she rode the lightning. It was like
she rode the lightning.
It was so mind-boggling. But no, this episode and speaking of Donna and her death, like I get it. You write off a character, the crew is going to mourn a little bit, but they dragged it out all the way up until the end. It was like a long, sorry thing. For like a throwaway thing, like first of all, it was really sudden. The way the thing just fell and she got zapped. Yep. Like, okay.
Well, like I said, it was very much like Final Destination's endings. Where it's like you didn't expect that to happen.
You did not expect it to happen at all.
And it didn't need to happen.
No.
It's like, you already lost Aqualad. I can't even say his name without laughing.
Well, he came and went in one episode. So I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
she has been here all of season 2.
Wasn't she supposed to go back to Themyscira? And couldn't you just do that instead of killing her off? Like,
well.
Oh,
the way they ended this here, obviously, we're like Raven's going to be with her because she's the only one who thinks that she can somehow bring her back. So it sounds like that's the direction they're going to go.
Well, she was supposed to go back to there too, but they didn't. 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 They didn't Deathstroke killed every single one of them.
Yep. Except for all the ones who just showed up again to take her body back.
Sure, but that's my whole point. So we got
so-
the whole episode with Aqualad, and she's like, I gotta go back to Themyscira, and I gotta do my training, and blah, blah, blah. And then she decides to say, because she wants to see the Deathstroke thing, like, resolved or whatever, just do that. Deathstroke is taken care of. You don't have to have the electric tower fall and kill her. You could have just been like, all right, it's done, it's over, everything is good, I have to go back and do my training. And that would have been a perfect way to write her off the show. You didn't have to, like... It was incredibly unnecessary, in my opinion. I thought it was unnecessary.
Oh, totally. Like,
okay,
because she was actually she was a main. Like, the fact that she's gone,
bye.
It's kind of it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know what's funny though is when you see Rose finally kill Deathstroke. All that went through my mind was they could have like spliced in a clip from like Empire Strikes Back, and you see Darth Vader goes, "All too easy, all too easy."
It was
because it was a quick minute and a half fight. I mean, it was a good fight, but it was so quick, and then she runs him through, and you're like, he can't be dead.
It was It looked like the end fight of an episode of The Flash. That's what it looked like. The way that they did it looked like an end fight of the episode of The Flash, where it's like finally they get there, the two of them team up, and it's done, and you're like, oh, like Flash had that corniness about it, and then when it was done, you're like, oh, it's done. Okay, good, cool, all right, we're finally done with that.
But the whole show was kind of like that.
Right.
This was like, it's gritty, it's building, it's building, and then you get beep, and you're like, what was that?
You're 5 minutes in, and
yeah,
and it's over, and you're like,
it's over.
Now what? And it wasn't even like a wrap up. It was like, oh yeah, and this other side plot. Now let's focus on that now.
Well, they did that.
No.
They did that with season 1 too, and they killed off Trigon.
I know, and
just
like, no. They killed off Trigon at the beginning of season 2,
and it took 13 seconds.
Yes,
and this took 12.
This is
so I'll say this: I like the show, but it was just way too much.
Season 3 doesn't start off any better. Like,
I
guess it kind of does.
I don't care how season 3 starts, but Chuck just hit the nail on the head. Like, the way they're killing off these like villains who are like these massive deals is ridiculous. 13 seconds for Trigon, 12 seconds or whatever for Deathstroke, and it's all over, it's done. And Rose, like, her complete shift in character, like, that makes absolutely no sense. She went from stay away from me, I don't want anything to do with you, I got family problems, Jason Todd, blah, 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 I don't want this, that, and now all of a sudden she's all about the Titans, and she comes back, the cringiest dialogue in the world, and like lifts up Jericho, I know you're in there, come on, let's go, this is my family now. It's like, where did this attitude come from? This is so left field for you.
Because this was all straight out of the Disney Pixar's Inside Out, where he's looking at her through a video screen from inside. The thing is, Deathstroke what should have happened is Rose should have been killed by Deathstroke. Done. She should have been that fast. She should have died.
But then where's Jericho gonna go?
Oh, in a cat.
Oh, maybe in Adeline, because
there you go.
She's gifted.
I never said she was gifted.
Okay, but you did think something else was going on with her.
You need to stop with this, because that whole thing. I didn't. And listen, that whole thing.
At the very end of our conversation, I said at the very end of that whole conversation, I said I never thought that she was gifted or had superpowers. I said that she was behind everyone getting together at the diner in Elko, and that was it.
And what exactly? What are we supposed to take away from you thinking that? She's behind everybody getting together in Elko, and the whole radio thing and everything else.
All of it was done with technology. We have
idea
if she has
technology.
This goes back.
TV, the radio,
a holographic Bruce Wayne.
Yes, this goes back.
What that was.
This goes back to our conversation about oh my God, Passion in the Desert, where you full on flat out you You insinuated bestiality took place in that movie, and there was none of that. You insinuated heavily that she was gifted or had something going on, and we were trying to figure that out.
If you re-listen to the end of that conversation, I flat out said, I never said that she had superpowers. I said, because somebody came, everybody thought that, because you didn't watch the episode yet, we all thought, except for Lee, that Bruce Wayne was actually there. Now we know that he wasn't actually there. Everything else that happened that got people there was all through technology. Hold on. Everything was all done through technology.
Yes.
So we don't know if she has experience in high-tech information that can actually manipulate that to make that happen, where she can use technology to do that. It doesn't give her superpowers. It just means that she's smart. We don't know enough about her. Who else had a reason to get the Titans back together to release Jericho from his prison of Deathstroke? Nobody except for her.
Raven saw the diner in her dreams.
Right, but Raven thought that Bruce Wayne was there.
They all thought Bruce Wayne was there.
But he wasn't.
So explain this.
But what if he was, but Raven was controlling his brain?
What if he's just lying?
Yeah, what if
Bruce is just lying?
And the way that the show goes, I would not put it past them that Bruce was just lying. Like, no, never mind.
No, I just think that she could have been. I think that she could have been behind getting them together, and that's it.
Okay.
That's all I was saying. If you listen to the end of that whole conversation, because I just listened to it, I actually say,
which is fine.
I never said that she had superpowers. I said that she had something to do of getting them all together. You guys insinuated or inferred that I said she did that, but I never said that.
You implied heavily.
I said she's got something going on, as in she's got something going to get them together.
It's a superhero show. If you say she's got something going on, what are you supposed to think?
That she has something going on because she is trying to get her son rescued, and she knows the only way to do that is to get the Titans back together again.
Fine.
What other person?
I understand her motive that you're pushing. I get that.
So do I.
But it really seemed like you were saying she had a lot more to do. And honestly, I don't think she's any much more than what we saw.
It could be.
Yeah.
It was just a theory.
I know. It's a theory.
Yeah. You know what? And I'm still interested in the theory. I'm not disinterested in the theory. But I'm just saying,
I'm
like,
back and find that part and show you guys exactly where I said I never said that.
Oh, okay. So you have a problem with things being taken out of context and making it look like you said something you didn't say.
But you actually did.
Thanks,
say
Shorts.
That.
But I said it, but it was clear that I was getting to the point of what is this? Like, what does this mean? No, I've never heard of this. I've been talking about 616 since the beginning.
Hang on. I left that whole thing in there. I thought it was abundantly clear that you were being facetious. Abundantly clear.
Well, okay. So,
can I talk
Chuck,
about something? Go ahead.
I was gonna say, Chuck, I have a gift for you.
Oh.
It's from Batman Forever.
Oh no.
It's a glass. It's a
Why is this for me?
It's a collectible glass.
Why do I want that?
Well, because it's a double, and I figured, well, who would really appreciate a Batman Forever Robin glass? And with us talking about Titans and Robin, this is for you.
Do you have Batman?
I've got Batman. I've got Robin.
So I'm your sidekick now?
No, I've got Batman. I've got Robin. I've got Riddler, and I've got Two-Face. I've got the whole set. The only one I didn't have as a kid was Two-Face, and I had to buy that
McDonald's.
one. Dude, yeah, it's straight up a McDonald's glass.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, anyway.
I get gifts, Will.
Congratulations.
That's what happens when you show up in person.
Okay. So, I want to move on.
Satellite.
I want to move on.
I still stand by my theory, just FYI. There's a possibility that she had something to do with this. That's all I care about. And the fact that the two will never kiss. But
I want to move on to something else that I had a problem with.
Let
him go.
Go.
Right, go ahead.
Go ahead, Lee.
No, go ahead.
Nothing. I was going to back you up, but go ahead.
No, back me up, please.
The kissing thing. I'm just saying, what if they're found like something happened and the planet blew up or something and they're found dead.
Then I win.
But in a
you don't win. No, you don't win. No, you don't win. If the show actually opens up and they're just dead, no one wins. The bet is off.
Nobody wins. That's what we talk.
Nobody wins.
Nobody kissed. I win. Nobody.
We don't know that.
Dude, that guy
They're
is
dead.
in a new show. I was gonna send you guys the thing. He's in a new show and it's about like I forgot what it was called. It seemed like there was murders happening at like different times, different timelines. I forgot. It seemed like something else. I saw him and I'm like, it's the guy. But that's about it.
Well, so it's how long have I been recording so far? So it's show time, everybody. If you're watching this on YouTube, head on over to Patreon. Support us on Patreon. We're shilling. We want money. Head on over to Patreon, or you could just listen to the full audio podcast wherever you get your podcast from. Spotify, Apple Music, whatever. We love you.
Google
Goodbye.
Podcast.
I want to bring up another problem that I have with this show. Here's this. Okay. So the Matrix, because they loved each other.
Yes.
They cure MK Ultra in the show because love and friendship.
Oh yeah.
What?
I remember it. I remember it being a lot more difficult the first time watching it. So when I saw her grabbing his paw and trying to fix things, and then he's like, "Rah!" and she's like, "Hey, okay, all right, you're being a jerk. Let's try this again." And then I thought the second time she was like, "Okay, I can't handle this." No, she just tries again, and
she heals him.
Yeah.
No. She kneels down. She kneels down in front of him before she even lays a hand on him while he's a tiger, supposed to be like all, doped up on whatever drugs they're pumping full of him. And he does nothing. He just sits there and grunts and roars and moans and whatever. And it's just like, but why?
He could just get punched in the face by Superman too. And sent like 30 feet in the air.
He was knocked pretty. He was knocked pretty well. But
I don't know.
She heals him. That's why when you see her touch him, like glows.
So we saw the healing happen earlier with what did I call her before? Firestorm.
The
Starfire.
The deer.
The deer.
Oh, the deer. But she healed Firestorm. Starfire. Whatever. Well, how come nobody corrects me on this character's name? Oh, because nobody cares. We only know her as Coriander.
Yeah,
this
Coriander.
Character is. Yeah, and didn't they introduce was it the end of this episode? Where they
her sister
showing up? Oh, yeah. I mean,
her sister shows up at the end.
Again, such a weird let's just forget about this character's story.
So she's gonna be I'm gonna predict it. She's gonna be the big bad of season 3. Hold on, the big bad of season 3, and she's gonna be very easily dealt with sometime at the end. That's my prediction for her.
My prediction is I'll tell you this from memory, and it's not giving much away. I saw a few episodes of season 3, and I don't recall her being anything. So I feel like it's gonna be another one. I'm gonna make my prediction just like you did. That I would say I don't remember, and I'm not saying she didn't show up. She might have, but I just don't remember. So it was not a big deal. That's how much it was not a big deal. But I think they're gonna do the exact same thing. And I hope they don't, where it's like they fight this other thing super easy, and then it's like, oh, now let's focus on her and make her the big thing, just like they did with Gar and Connor here. Oh, yeah, there was also this story going on. If they follow suit and do the same exact thing, it's just proof that they're following a formula that nobody else does. And they're like, hey, check it out. We're edgy and doing things different. Yeah, but it's bad. So don't do it.
Well, the ending is bad. Everything else is great.
Yeah, but
everything else is great. Everything else is great.
For the most part, the general consensus of the storyline and their stuff is good.
Dick Grayson going all like Xavier and going into Superman Light's mind and healing him. That's great.
He helped him find the light.
He had Rachel's help with that.
That's so stupid. It's so stupid. It's so
I'm
stupid.
I'm saying not like the endings are dumb. But
Gar can't attack Rachel because they love each other. Connor can't attack anybody else in that moment, or at least like resist Dick Grayson because they're friends and he's just a scared child in his own mind. Like what?
Well, no, he's also under the grip of Rachel too. We don't know how strong she is.
Gargoyle.
Rachel has him.
She seems to know how strong she is now.
Yeah.
What is going on with her character?
I have no idea.
We've been saying this since the beginning of us talking about Titans. What is going on with Rachel?
Have we?
Yes.
Because you were there?
Yeah.
No, you weren't.
I was.
In spirit.
Listening to us talk.
Oh, yeah, I know. I was yelling in the car.
He was there in spirit.
I was yelling back like, ah! But yes, no, we have been. And we've been saying, like, what's going on here? Like, this character has so much potential, but they go in like, oh, it's mysterious. What's going to happen here? This whole Trigon thing. And then this whole season, which I feel like this whole season, how many episodes were there? 13?
13.
I feel like there were 70.
12,
all right?
12. Because the first episode was actually the last episode of season 1.
Correct. But that's the problem, is like I feel like we've gone through so many episodes this season, and it's like something's happening with her and nobody cares. Not even the show creators care. That's the whole thing, is like she's like crying out like, somebody pay attention to me and what's going on, and none of the characters care and none of us care because they're not allowing us to care. They're trying to focus on everything else that's going on.
When she walked out of that barn to like do battle with Trigon, she walked onto that field with all the confidence in the world. Like, like she knew exactly who she was and what her purpose was and where she was heading. Like, that was her character. The middle of the season, she was confused. She didn't know what was going on and everything else. And gargoyles are flying all over the place and ripping off guys' legs. And now at the end of this season, she is powerful enough to overcome MK Ultra. I don't understand what is going on with this character at all.
Nope.
At all. And again, Lee said it. I don't think the show knows what's happening with this character. They're just winging it. Let's just wing it. Let's just see what happens. We're going to throw everything onto the wall and see what sticks best. Hey!
Right. I think you said it last week, where there's just, the ensemble's just too big.
It is. It's
just
too much.
Too big.
It's
way too much to focus. Like you said this last week, you even kind of went down, if they had, 16, 17 episodes and they could actually focus,
it would be a lot better.
Characters, it'd be better. But yeah, or take 2 seasons to tell one story.
Yeah. It's not impossible. It's not impossible. I don't think.
Or like Breaking Bad took 5 seasons to tell one story.
The difference there is on Breaking Bad, Bryan Cranston was the constant. Yes. The Sopranos, Tony Soprano, James Gandolfini was the constant. Like these shows, like Mad Men, John Hamm was the constant. These shows are in that caliber because they had one central character that everything revolved around. Okay, that's why they worked.
That's true, because the ensemble around them, Jesse.
Yes.
Skylar,
yes, very much so.
Revolved around
one character. If this show revolved around Dick Grayson, I think it would be much better. Much better. Very easy.
Because then they could establish the side characters the way they have been, and you wouldn't feel as though you're missing out because they're side characters.
Right.
Like Skylar in Breaking Bad went from like loving wife to like, drastically just emotionally just distraught and beat up. I mean, you saw her transform over the 5 seasons, but like you weren't like heavily focused on her. So when there was a big switch, you weren't like, oh, they didn't build that. That you had enough information where you got onto it. Jesse was a pretty big constant in it too.
But he's still very much his character still very much revolved around Walter. Yes. Yeah, it did.
There was a lot that didn't revolve around Walter.
But it did. Even adjacent,
it all did.
Even adjacent Jesse's character still very much revolved around Walter. What was Jesse's motivations for everything that he did on that show? It was either to piss off Mr. White or please, Mr. White. Nothing. There was no other wiggle room in there. There was one of those two things, and that was it. Still, very much revolved around Walter. But I want to get back.
Was it true though that he was never supposed to actually?
They were going to kill him off in this first season.
He was not supposed to last.
He was not supposed to make it out of the first season.
But everyone fell in love with him.
Oh yes, yes. Everyone fell in love with him.
And then what happened to it? 5 seasons of this. He went like just.
That's yeah. He's done other things. He's been in other shows.
Need for Speed.
Well, yeah, Need for Speed. That was like the big joke. He was in a
Honeycombs commercial. He was also on The Price is Right.
And Top Gear.
Okay, Top Gear.
Yeah. He was in a. He was recently. Wow, got real dark in there. He was recently in a show. He was recently on a show. I forget the name of it. He was on a show about Scientology.
With Tom
about
Cruise?
Like, yeah, sure. I want to get back to Titans. Hang on. I want to get back to Titans. There's one other thing. Where is it? There's one other thing that I wanted to mention, and then I'm gonna let you two take the rest of this and guide the rest of this conversation. I said it last week. The only when it comes to Hank and Dove, or Hawk and Dove, or whatever is going on here,
they're done.
Are they? The best possible outcome. The best possible outcome would be for her to walk away from him forever. No more. We're done. It's over. And then he's sitting there. What about Hawk and Dove? And she freezes. She pauses. She's looking at the suit, and then the camera just cuts. And it's like, all right, leave us with that cliffhanger. Thanks a lot. Why is she not just saying no and walking away? Why does this have to still be a thing?
Because she's gonna be Hawk and Dove, like it was Dove and Robin, but there is no Dawn and Dick Grayson.
Okay.
So she seems to be pretty well at doing the superhero thing together, but not doing the relationship thing together.
Yeah, she's horrible.
Maybe. We'll see. Well, we won't see what happens because we're moving on from this.
Well,
we won't see
eventually.
Eventually.
Someday.
We'll get back to it someday. Not now. I'm just saying I could have done without that for her character. I think she should have just packed up and walked away from the whole thing.
I wonder if our blondness about this right now is because we pushed through 2 seasons so quickly.
Is it quickly?
We went straight through.
Well,
yeah, we did 20 something episodes in 2 seasons straight.
No. Because technically
my blondness.
We released things.
My blondness about this show isn't because we did so many things at once, because I'm used to binging. That's my preferred way of watching television now. I binge a lot, so that's not it. My blondness with this show is, like I stated before, the opening and the ending of everything so far has been such a letdown.
Yes.
And that's what an audience remembers, right? An audience always remembers the way something started and the way something ended. And if it ended with a sour taste in your mouth, you're going to feel that way about everything that you just watched. It's storytelling 101.
Full of mayonnaise, and it's going to be disgusting, you know? It could be the greatest sandwich ever, and then...
What if you like mayonnaise?
Well, if you like...
Macaroni salad doesn't do it for you?
No.
Wow.
No, none of them.
Really?
None of them. No.
Wow. Okay.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Listen, I don't want to see the glizberry or anything like that. Put the phone away. I don't want to see it.
See what?
Whatever you're trying to pull up.
I'm not looking at it. I'm not.
No, honestly, I agree with you guys completely. I think we're all on the same page here, is that this show does not know how to end things. We can talk about food. There's so many different things we can compare. And the one thing that, I mean, here's another one when we talk about another metaphor, if you will. One thing that I found was always impressive about Chris Cornell's voice is that he knew how to end his note. You know, the way that he. What, you disagree? Or you agree?
100% agree with you.
Exactly. Like his voice wasn't like the greatest voice in the world, but he knew how to end it in a way that like it faded, but it still ended, and it was like it had the right amount of vibrato, and you're like, wow, like he had like some of the most amazing control over his voice. You know, it wasn't like a hard cut. It didn't just like, slow down and he faded out. It was just like, it was a perfect combination. And
especially during that time when you were listening to like Kurt Cobain and Lane Stanley, like just like slobbering all over a microphone, not really caring at all. And here's Chris Cornell.
Just whatever. And then you've got him and you're like, whoa, this guy's got a voice.
Yeah.
And like, it's just that, but that's the thing, is like, he ended everything well. And I always compare this. Like, I have a song that I recorded with my band years ago. And, we had my drummer sang a line that he wrote like this couple lines to kind of finish off this song, and he knows he's not the greatest singer, and we all know that he's not the greatest singer, but I'm like, you wrote it, I'd like you to sing it. And he goes, well, I don't really feel comfortable. I'm just like, no, as long as you end the note okay, you can start it and end it okay, we're good. And he's like, but I'm like, well, do it until it sounds okay. So he did it, and he's like, he sings his line and then he ends it. And I'm like, hey, you started and you ended okay. I don't care if you were completely flat in the middle. It's fine, And for us, it was more of a, let's just hurry up and record this before we get too old and none of us are in a band anymore. And we just want to have something to have on file that exists. So that's really the big thing. Begin and end well. And so far, a lot of the things that we've watched, a lot of the things that we've talked about, that we've invested in, we've been disappointed, because we just talked about Loki. That did not end well. Started great. Started amazing. And in the middle, like at the whole first season, I don't think there was a part of the first season where we're like, meh. So like, it was just so good.
So speaking of that, I told this to Will during the week. I saw this on YouTube. Somebody posted this, not on YouTube, on Facebook. Someone said, "Do you ever wonder why the time stone was green?" And then it fast forward to Loki sitting in a chair as he's grabbing it, and you see all the
all the green.
I'm like, that they were not thinking that far in advance.
No, they might have.
No, not even. You're being way too charitable, Lily. I'm sorry. That's too much. There's no way that this right now, this thing that Marvel is doing right now, there's no way they thought that through. No.
They didn't think anything through. I mean, technically, Casey has all the stones, right?
Sure.
Just sitting in his drawer. He could just take those and go to any reality he wants right now.
There's multiples.
Oh, yeah, and he could just rule all of it. But no. Again, my favorite line is like, oh, if they catch us, they're going to get us like a fish. And I'm like, yes! Because that's the best part of the season 1.
With this, back to Titans though, with this whole thing, if they flipped the fight with Superman 2.0 with Connor and Deathstroke, if they flipped those two fights, the majority of this episode would have been fine, because the big fight should have been Deathstroke. He has been the arch nemesis the entire season.
Yeah.
And then they made Connor the bad guy, like the final fight. No.
Doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
Doesn't make a whole lot of sense at all.
And they were detached from each other. They weren't related. They weren't connected. There were two totally different stories happening the entire time.
Which still would have been fine
if they did it backwards.
Connor was the first fight.
But the other thing about that, the other big deal, well, if Connor was the first fight, then he could have just smacked Deathstroke and he'd be done. But anyway, that's that. That's I think that's why they did it that way, because if Connor was on their side, he would have stepped in and helped out.
So we've all,
and it wouldn't have been a problem. But hold on.
Go
here's the other issue with it. And this is the problem I have with a lot of things we've watched. There was one movie that I watched years ago. Was it The Dark Tower, that Stephen King one with Idris Elba and stuff like that?
I think you talked about that. You've talked about that a couple of times, yeah.
We have, yeah. Like, I've definitely brought it up. The problem was, I don't feel like Dick grew. I don't feel like I don't feel like the character of Dick Grayson had much growth. Okay.
There's a short right there.
Oh,
no, I'm not going to do that.
Here we go.
I'm not going to do that.
Okay. Well,
I can be tasteful. I might be a little clickbaity, but I'm going to be tasteful.
I don't feel like there was much growth there.
No.
For Dick.
What is this, Austin Powers? Get over it.
His growth came from Bruce. That's the problem I have.
Yes, but the thing is,
but he
fought Deathstroke at the end.
What do you mean it didn't come from Bruce?
It was all in his head, so therefore it was not Bruce.
No, that last time it was really Bruce.
What last time was really Bruce?
When he has that talk and he goes, "Oh, I see why you did this." Wasn't that him?
When he has their.
But the growth throughout the season, though, was all of it was Bruce in his head.
Yeah, I know.
Therefore, it was Dick.
But it was still Bruce.
Not Bruce.
It was still like the thought of Bruce. It's still Dick Grayson being in the shadow of Bruce. It's still Dick Grayson wanting to please Bruce
and we know
it's
going to continue to tie back to that.
But we all do that, though. When we have somebody in our lives that has all, like, I do that. Like, when I hear something like, I wouldn't do that, I hear my father's voice in my head, not somebody else's. Because it's like, that's the person who trained you.
Yeah.
You know, it's Mr. Miyagi and Danielson. You know,
I get it. But we've also, like, I've never been in like a mental space or like a personal situation where I wanted to like break away from my grandfather, right? So when I'm doing something, I still hear his voice in the back of my head, either telling me I did something good or telling me that I messed up or whatever. Like, I still have that, and I like that. I have no problem there. This entire Dick Grayson experience has been all about him wanting to break away from Bruce Wayne, and he cannot do it. Therefore,
because the voice in his head is still that.
Yeah, but he was so adamant and mad and bitter about everything Batman and everything Bruce through these first 2 seasons, and now all of a sudden, oh no, I had a mental battle with you, and now we're good now, and now I'm gonna stand in front of you while you give me this really warm fatherly moment and give me a whole bunch of advice, and yeah, sure, no problems. Like, it didn't make any sense why all of that anger just kind of faded away. That's the thing, though.
But that's the thing, though, is what you see throughout the episodes is when you see Bat Tootsie and you see him doing the dance and you see him having all of these mental moments where he's fighting with Dick Grayson with Bruce, all the way up until he's in his prison cell and he has that final fight with Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
That's where he finally comes to grips with the fact of, okay, I'm okay with this. But it took the whole season. That right there.
No, that's the moment. Not okay with this so much is more of a. That's when Bruce was like, Jericho's inside.
Right.
That was the big thing.
But the whole, but the fight between the big, that was a big. But the fight between.
Oh, that fight. Okay, I remember
when he's fighting.
Yeah,
in his head.
The literal fight. Like
sure.
The literal fight.
Right.
You can say that.
Was the build up all season long until he's like, okay, great. Now I've come to grips with this and I'm okay with it.
But that's not growth.
That was not growth that helped him defeat Deathstroke. That's the point, is you have to grow somewhere in order to defeat the big bad.
But it was growth.
I know, but all he grew was realizing he needed to be a family.
Yeah.
No, but he also
That's it.
He also grew in the fact of, on top of that, there is truth to that, but at the same time, there's also growth in the fact of he was always fighting this you know, his conscience, let's say, inside of him, and there was always, he could never win because there was always an inner battle going on, an inner struggle going on. And once he came to grips with that, so will Spider-Man 3 it or 2 it?
It's still not growth. Growth for this character from season 1 up until the end of this episode would have been breaking away from Bruce Wayne, getting from out from under the shadow of Batman, right? That would have been Dick Grayson's growth. He retreated. He reverted back to the old ways of, well, I guess I should just accept the fact that Bruce is a part of my life and I'm just going to move on and be okay with it. That's not growth.
Yeah.
But that is growth. Hold on.
Growth from season 1, like the opening.
That is growth because when he realizes that Bruce Wayne is actually a presence in his life that is good, it actually helps him, makes him stronger, gives him balance. When he figures that out, he says, "Oh, I can't do this on my own." His whole struggle was, "I am trying to do this on my own. I can do this. I have the strength to do this. I'm going to be on my own. I'm going to be my own character, yada, yada, yada." And he does all this stuff. And then and that's why he gets into that fight with Bruce and he realizes, oh, wait a minute. it actually takes a more mature person to actually come to grips with this than it does to break away from this. So I'm going to go back to where I was and find solace and solitude and strength in that and actually grow in that. That right there is actually a mental growth and an emotional growth that is bigger than I'm going to break away and screw you.
My understanding of the character of Nightwing is that he became Nightwing to get out of Bruce's shadow.
Yes, that too.
And this show is showing the opposite. He became Nightwing and went back into Bruce's shadow.
Also, what you're describing, is just accepting your abuser. Like we went through this
because it's this.
We went through this whole thing. We went through this whole thing where we come to so we all agree that Bruce Wayne, Batman, whatever you want to call him, it doesn't matter what you watch. It doesn't matter whether you read the comics, whether you watch the movies, whether you saw the old TV shows from back in the 60s, whether you saw the cartoons. Batman uses Robin through and through. He is there to take fire. He is the boy wonder. He is there to all of it, right? That is the purpose of him, and Dick Grayson was coming to terms with that and wanted no more of it. Oh my God, he's chipping me. Oh my God, he's following me. Oh my God, he won't let me be my own person. Oh my God, he won't leave me alone. That was the entire thing. The entire story arc of Robin to Nightwing is what I just described. That did not happen here. Here it was, well, I just have to accept that Batman is there and I have to, fine.
But accepting that Batman is there doesn't mean that he didn't break away from it. So I'm going to use, this is a bad movie, The Next Karate Kid, when Mr. Miyagi talks to Hilary Swank and he says, you learn how to fight so you don't have to fight.
Yep.
You come to grips with the fact that you know how to fight.
I don't know.
So that you are secure in who you are so that you don't have to fight. He has come to grips with the fact that Batman is there. He's going to be his own person now. And now he has the strength to be his own person out from underneath the shadow of Bruce Wayne.
Is he going to be his own person? Are we sure he's going to be his own person moving forward? Who paid for that suit? Who paid for that suit? Who came in and gave the pep talk? Who was the father figure giving all the fatherly advice? Who did all that? Who played a role? Who played a role from behind the computer terminal during the final fight? We sure? Are we sure that Dick Grayson is breaking away and being his own person? It does not seem that way to me at all.
Because Bruce Wayne is still there sometimes doesn't mean that he's not his own person.
Okay.
Not even a little bit. They could still partner up from time to time. It doesn't mean that Dick Grayson's not on his own. It doesn't mean that Nightwing isn't on his own. It just means that he's come to grips with the fact of Batman, Bruce Wayne, is here. And I'm okay with that. And now I can be my own person, being okay with the fact that Bruce Wayne is still here.
I just
growth.
We're gonna have to agree to disagree here because I'm not gonna keep going around in circles with this. I don't know. You think it's growth? I don't think it's growth at all. I think it's just he's just accepting more of the same. He's just accepting more of the same, and that's not. Again, I agree with Lee. From everything that I understand about Nightwing, that is not Nightwing.
Right, but he hasn't accepted it anymore. He has fried Robin. He burnt the suit. He is no longer Robin. He has left that part of him behind. Mm-hmm. He has now chosen to do his own thing out from underneath the tutelage, let's say, of Batman. Now he might partner up with Batman every once in a while, but he's no longer Batman's protege. He's on his own.
Batman paid for the suit, and Batman's paying for the roof that's over his head right now.
So
it's all Bruce's. It's. I don't know. Okay, fine. We can move on from this. Because I'm honestly.
We'll get more into the relationship between Nightwing and Batman, or Dick Grayson and Bruce Wayne, when we come back to this show.
Sure.
But I think as far as this episode goes, we're just not happy with the way that they ended it. It's not a good way to close this chapter.
No.
You know, I mean, chapter's closed. It is. Like, they successfully did the minimum of what they were supposed to do, which is better than what they did at the end of season 1, because they actually did it in season 2 instead. But But again, it was like quick and done. Like
Right.
it's the timing and the way they cut this up. It's like, did you make the whole thing and then just go chop 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 and make the episodes, or
Every
did you
45
actually
minutes.
or did you actually think, how do we make this story make sense?
I don't
and
think
how do
anybody
we
thought.
pace it?
I don't think
I don't
anybody
know.
thought. It doesn't seem
But-
like it. It doesn't seem
but-
like it.
It is a WB thing, so
Ugh.
CW.
Okay,
WB.
so
WB was better.
and
This is WB.
if we're wrapping
WB
up
is
here,
CW.
WBCW, sure. If we're wrapping up
WBCN.
everything here, and this is going to be it, we should end with one thing. I think it's the most important thing that Titans did in this episode. One question, one thing that I have: where did Crypto come from?
And where did Crypto go?
Where did Crypto go? And where did he come from? He just come
Wait.
in the final hero shot where they're all walking down the street, all hunky dory as a family. Crypto just comes running out of nowhere. Where was
Oh,
he?
he did? I missed that.
Yeah. Gar is there as the tiger, and then they're walking, and then here comes Crypto running up to be like in the middle, and here's our team. Here's our hero shot. And it's like Crypto's there out of nowhere. Where did he
Crypto
come from?
Well, he had super speeds. He just showed up.
When was the last time we saw him? Was he in the tower when they broke in and they took the dog and
They used the
Connor?
net,
and okay, yeah,
Yeah.
very valid question.
You see him. I did enjoy when she's trying to, when she's what's it called when you're doing the auction, when she's trying to auction off Connor. That whole segment was really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was pretty cool.
That was pretty cool.
Begin and yeah,
Like the other guy shot her, and then he shot her, and then caught it.
yeah.
Like,
It was interesting and it made sense. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Again, I don't have a problem with like the meat of all of this.
Neither do
it's
I.
Just, it's not tactfully done.
right.
I think
So-
the meat of Titans, like everything that happens like in between, is fantastic.
And
It's
that's what I was saying before,
really
is I think-
good.
And that's what I was saying before. Is I think overall this entire show is really good. It's
So
just
do
how
I.
they open and close it.
Yeah.
It's just
It's
eh.
rough.
because
That's a rough landing.
yeah, it's not good.
No,
And
no.
not good. Not good.
It's not.
And the
good. I
end with
would rather-
Coriander's sister coming into like the fold now, like this makes no sense. So we saw her, and when she was like, "Hey, come back home, we can rule together," and Coriander's like, "No," and it's like, "Okay, goodbye." Why is she back now? Why did she care? She didn't care before. Now all of a sudden she's back. Why?
Well, I think she's just there to I don't know.
They had to replace Donna.
Oh,
Okay.
sure. They have. She's
Yeah.
okay.
So, do you think they'll ever revisit Corey and Dick Grayson?
No,
That relationship?
no.
That's
think
just
that
done.
was-
think so.
I think that was
No,
very.
no.
I think that was very clearly like a one time thing where they were both like the
That was a
adrenalines.
few times.
Sure, but it was,
It was
you
a
know,
few times.
fine.
Yeah.
I don't think they're
I
gonna
can see season 3. I can see season 3 opening up with Dick Grayson going back to the hotel. Ding, ding, ding.
The woman.
The woman with the ice.
The poor woman.
That poor,
You got-
desperate woman.
I'm here until 1 a.m. Yeah, good.
Great. Thanks.
To get the
Have
ice
you ever,
machine
like-
working, you gotta jiggle that the blah blah blah. Hey,
If
I
you-
got
if
the
you-
ice machine working. Do
you
you,
work-
you know,
Could you be like? I just met you.
do you want to drink?
Guess what? You want to hook up tonight?
That was
No.
so sad.
It was,
That was
really
so
sad.
sad.
It was sad. It was
It
just
was
sad and
hilarious.
desperate. It was
It
funny.
was-
I agree with both
it
of
was
you. It was
funny.
sad and funny, but it was perfect.
Because she goes to the door, she knocks on it, and Corey just opens up and walks out, and she's like, "Oh, bye." It's so bad,
Oh well.
but
anyway,
whatever. But they could have if they didn't kill her off, they could have revisited Dick Grayson and Donna.
that's what I thought they
Hmm.
were going. Well, no, because Dove is now single, and they're gonna probably revisit that whole thing.
Ooh, and then a fight between Hank and
Sure,
Dick Grayson.
sure. That'll be like
Hawk.
the B plot of whatever moving forward. I guess I don't know. I'm spitballing now.
I can see that now. End of season 3. Well, Dove couldn't die because of
Oh my
Ah.
god!
Nightwing couldn't die because
You're not allowed to die. I love you too much.
I hate when that's the premise of like why things can't happen. It's like, what?
You're not allowed to die because I love you.
Oh, come on. Can we
Did
move on?
Did you guys see the? Did you see the meme on social media where this is all back to Star Wars, but you see, in Return of the is it Return? Yeah, Return of the Jedi when they're
Revenge.
on
Revenge of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi when when Luke gives himself over to Darth Vader and they're going up the elevator.
Mhm.
And Darth Vader like looks at his lightsaber.
Oh yeah, I saw that. And you read it, it's total clickbait 'cause it says, "Oh yeah, did you notice he adjusted on his lightsaber?" And you read it and you're like, "Yeah, he didn't adjust anything." I'm just like, "I know, he didn't adjust anything."
No. But the meme was you see father and son talking and he's like, "So, you see Darth Vader talking to Luke saying, "So, what are you doing for Thanksgiving?" And then you see Luke saying, "I don't know, but do you have any roasted legs?"
Oh,
Wow.
not anymore.
Wow.
I was like, that is so bad.
That's rough.
Of course, if they never made the prequel trilogy, that would never have made sense. So I wonder if George Lucas actually had that part written out beforehand. But who knows?
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who
knows? All right.
So,
We're done with Titans?
Oh, we're done with Titans.
We are done with Titans.
Titans.
So long, Titans. Cool. We will revisit.
Bye for now, Titans.
We will revisit.
So for all you people listening to us Titans right now, we will revisit it. Just it will be a while.
Yeah.
We need a break.
Yeah. So obviously, if you are catching this whole episode, I mean, what's the deal with this? People only the exclusives are getting the special conversation, or
well, the people who are getting the exclusive on Patreon get to look at our pretty faces.
Ooh,
that's the
and the audio part is still free.
Oh,
the audio is always going to be free.
Look at that.
Yeah,
and
I know.
That, and that.
Yeah.
And that.
Would you look at that?
Just look at that. And look at this.
Just look at
Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And where else can you find us?
Yes, you can find us on Facebook at Black and White Reviews.
Oh.
And you can find us on YouTube and Instagram at Black and White Reviews 1866.
1866.
And then if you go on Patreon, just search for Black and White Reviews and we will pop up.
Now, is that black and percent?
Nope.
White reviews or just black and white reviews?
Black and white.
No spaces, just straight black and white?
On Patreon?
Or anywhere?
Well, no. On all the social media, it's all one word.
Oh, is it?
But on Patreon, it's black space and space white space reviews.
Lots of spaces.
Lots of spaces.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Or you can just wait.
Cool.
Or you can just, go down to the description and I will post link to all of our socials.
Those are there too.
Those are going to be there. They're all going to be there.
You want to make sure you can find us.
Everything will be there.
You can want to make sure you can find us.
So.
Is there an echo in here?
Shill.
Echo.
Money.
So with that, money.
Shill money.
Chill.
I'm not going to be shy about this. I'm not going to be shy about what we're trying to do here. Everybody knows what we're trying to do. Everybody gets it. Everybody knows the deal.
We're not trying to make a ton of money. We just want to,
You're not trying to make a ton of money. You're not trying to make a ton of money. I'm trying to make a ton of money.
Of course. I just need to justify the amount of time we spend together.
Well, shit to be paid.
No. Listen. I've had a long couple months of work. And I could be in bed right now.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah,
but you're here with us.
But if we can make a little bit of money back and offset the cost that we've invested into this, would be nice.
Where you're invested.
Nice. We have in the past.
We're your friends.
Whether we do this or not,
we're your friends.
I'm not judging. Okay. Thanks, everybody. It's been fun.
It's been real. It's been fun.
But has it been real fun?
It has been.
Oh, okay, it has.
It's been okay.
Right. Thank you.
It's been. All right, everyone. Have a great one.
Bye. Bye.